G'day viewers, welcome to another episode of FriBaT, Friday Beers and Tools. This week our beer is another Australian beer. Don't buy a lot of overseas beer, mostly domestic. I'm sure we'll review a few domestics overseas as well. Is Pure Blonde. Pure Blonde is an ultra low carb lager, which of course for bigger older fellas like me is becoming more important to me because I do like a beer. It apparently has 80% less carbs than regular beer and about 50% less than wine. It's a good reason to drink it. Taste wise, I have had this one a fair bit, so I'll give you my my hopefully own personal opinion on its taste. It is another 4.2% full strength beer in Australia. That's classed as a heavy beer, and one of these, which is 345 mils, I think. 355 mils is a 1.2 standard drinks. Let's give it a go. Oh, it is a twist top as well. Didn't need to use my cool opener. Oh, it's another one that, oh no, it does fit the Yeti, that's fine. It's a nice crisp, again it's a lager. I probably am more of a lager drinker than anything else. It's a nice crisp lager. I do like it after mowing the lawn or something like that, doing something outside hot and sweaty. This is a Carlton United, which is one of the big brewers in Australia, beer. And look, for me, the ultra low carb is fairly important and attractive because I do like a beer. But as I find now that I'm in my 50s, beer's sitting where it shouldn't, if you know what I mean. And yeah, so quite like that. We'll come back to that. All right, first tool for this week, and again I'm going to try and do two tools, maybe one sort of mechanical small tool and then one a little bit more complicated, is an Chinese tool. Some of you may have seen these before. It's called a flexible hose clamp plier, and I meant to grab a hose clamp, so I'll grab that right now. A cheap Chinese tool that I thought was a gimmick when I saw others using it, and when I saw it advertised. I would not be without this tool in my toolbox now. Very, very handy. They're around about $16 Australian on eBay. You probably can get them cheaper on Banggood or AliExpress or something like that, or Amazon. What they do is they're used for these type of clamps. OEM type clamp on almost all vehicles nowadays. They're cheap, they're quick to put on, they're not so great for putting on and off. And if anyone's ever tried to get a pair of pliers across these two, with the narrow tang and the wide tang, especially in an inaccessible area, will understand the value of this tool very quickly. The way it works is, obviously it's best for inaccessible areas. If you've got accessibility to it, then it's not so bad. It has two, whether you can see that, two hooks, I guess you'd say. This head swivels 360 degrees. It's not connected. It's not held to in any way. So you put it down into your spot in the engine bay. Once you've got it in place, squeeze like a normal pair of pliers. As you squeeze, it has a locking mechanism, so I can now let go of that, and it's now firmly on there. And to go further, squeeze further, and it opens up further, and then it locks again in the further. Then it's a matter of pushing it back on the pipe. After that, it's clear sailing. It stays on there. That's the really good thing about it with this locking mechanism. Sorry, that's a bit hard to see. With this locking mechanism, that's really very handy. Holds it on there. Once you've got your pipe out, release that, and then this comes off straight away. Similarly, when you want to put a new one on, if you've got accessibility, or if you don't have accessibility, slide your new clamp on or reuse the old clamp, and then clamp. For the sake of less than $20 Australian, this is an incredibly handy little tool. Not necessarily saying you need one in your toolbox in your truck, but certainly in your toolbox at home for the cost, get one of these. Flexible home hose clamp pliers. What do I rate this one out of beers? Speaking of beer. I reckon this is easily a 5 beer on cost rating. In fact, I might need to expand my beer rating and say this is a 10 for value for money. 10 beers, value for money. For the cost of it, one of the cheapest tools in my kit. I thought was a gimmick. It ain't no gimmick, very handy. Functionality, also 5 out of 5 beers, or 10 out of 10, whichever way we're going to go. Get yourself one of these, put it in your kit. You'll thank me. Second tool I'm going to review today is the Milwaukee C12 RAD0. This is fairly obviously a 90-degree drill, which are particularly handy when you snap a bolt off somewhere and you have very little access, you can't get into a spot to be able to drill in a normal drill. A short drill bit that's only 90 millimeters on this between here and here at the face, and then of course a shorter drill bit, sharpen a short drill bit down and gets you into that access. It has a 10mm chuck. If you're trying to drill something with bigger drill bits than 10mm, then you're overworking this anyway. Previous FriBaT watchers will know there's no fuel written on here, so that means that it's not a brushless motor. It is a brushed motor. As a consequence of that, it is cheaper. I don't know whether there is a brushless version of it yet. I haven't seen one on the market, but obviously it would be a lot dearer. And this is a new tool. Haven't used it yet, so I can't give you a full rundown of how well it works. But I'll give you a few stats on it. 10mm chuck, as I said, it will drill up to 10mm thick steel, and I think 15mm wood. And as I mentioned, it has a brushed motor. 12 Newton meters of torque, which isn't a lot, but it is a drill. It's not a driver, and probably shouldn't be used as such. It does have variable speed control, so nice speed control. It does have a fuel gauge on there for the battery power, and like most of the Milwaukee M12, does have a light. Seems to be well positioned for the job. Takes the standard M12 batteries, Milwaukee and aftermarket, as this one, as we've talked about previously, and is very quiet. That's flat out. It does have 12 torque settings on the back here. Torque or speed settings. That's the drill. Can't hear any change in speed, so it is only torque. It weighs 1.1 kilos, so about 2.4 pounds. I'm not sure whether that's including the battery. I don't think it is. Still, it's light. It's light. It is a little bit long, but I guess these things, again, for getting into spots where the critical size is that much, when you consider a normal drill is almost as long as this whole unit, makes getting into tight areas much easier. In Australia, they're available from most tool sellers. Total Tools, I don't think Bunnings has them, for about $149 for the bare tool. So it's not a lot of money. It's sort of equivalent to a similar 10mm drill, but again, your usability in tight areas is what gets this by. Great little tool. Can't do a full review on it yet. It does have the Milwaukee rubberized backing on it, and the grip, which is very nice. Oh, it also has a trigger lock, so you can't, oh, other way. There you go, center, trigger lock. Oh, that's reversing. It is reversible, yes. So that's your reversing switch and your trigger lock. What was I going to say? No, can't remember now. Very handy little tool to have in the kit. Obviously not something that you need starting out, but the first time that you ever break a stud in an exhaust manifold and you've literally got that much space to work in, you can't get a normal drill bit in there, and so that usually means heads off the car and a lot more time and cost involved. Very handy little tool. What do I rate this tool on the Beers scale? As I said, I can't do a really good full comparison for you yet, or review for you yet, because it is brand new, haven't used it yet. I do have a broken stud on Brutus that I think I have to fix. Exhaust manifold, as I mentioned. I reckon value for money, it's got to be at least 4.5 beers, and functionality, if it's like the rest of the Milwaukee gear that I've got, even the non-brushless gear, it's pretty darn good. So I'm going to say a 4.5 beers out of 5. Good tool. What about the beer? It's one of my usual beers. I like it. I actually drink it a reasonable amount. It's not as nice as some of the more premium beers for flavour, but the ultra low carb makes a difference to us 50-plus-year-olds. Becomes important, and if you like your beer, then you don't want to go without it. What do I give the Carlton United Pure Blonde? I reckon 4 spanners out of 5. It's a nice beer, nice and crisp, easy to drink. Anyway, that's it for another episode of FriBaT, Friday Beers and Tools. Please, if you think someone gets some interest out of either the tools or the beer or anything on my channel, please share it, and make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you get notified of when the new videos are up. Thanks very much for watching. Have a good Friday. Enjoy your Friday beer. Cheers.